Okay, so if you log in to Canvas, again, what I want to do today is show you the project and get you started on the project, okay? So go ahead and log into Canvas. And then the link to the first project is actually under Unit 3 with Chapter 3 and 4, because it's not due, as you see, it's not due until October 11th in here. But again, I want you to get started on it because the first part of the project is journalizing transactions and posting to a ledger. So it's really great practice before we test on Chapter 2 to really get in and get started. So I'm going to click on Project 1. And the project does have unlimited attempts. So you can go in and start working on it, save it, go back out and come back in. Okay. So I'm going to click Start Assignment now. I just wanted to show you what the project is. Once it loads, here we go. So some of it you're not quite ready to complete, but you can, again, get started on this first project. It's not displaying very well. There we go. Okay. Yeah, Project 1. Now, I would recommend printing off the instructions. Then way you have the journal entries and you're not flipping back and forth between all these tabs. So you can, go up here and print item under the instructions. So there's tabs up here. You're going to have instructions, chart of accounts, journal, ledger, unadjusted trial balance, and adjusted trial balance. So we can do a big part of this project before even moving into Chapter 3. So here it says Kelly Pitney began her consulting business on April 1st. And here is the accounting cycle for April, including financial statements as illustrated in the chapter. During May, she entered in the following transactions. So here's a month worth of transactions right here. And that's page, I'm assuming page 5 of the journal. And then it says record the following transactions on page 6 of the journal. So here's some transactions that you're going to journalize. And then it has the required, it gives you a chart of accounts, okay, and the post-closing trial balance as of April 30th. So it says you want to download the spreadsheet in the ledger panel and save the Excel file to your computer. So if you look at that, if I go to the ledger tab, that word in blue spreadsheet, if you click on that, it should download it, or I can open it in Excel. And you will be required to turn in this Excel spreadsheet with your project. So make sure that you download this to your computer, to your personal computer, wherever you want to work on it. I recommend if you work on it in class, you can save it to like your Google Drive to have access to it while you're working on it. That way you have it anywhere. Or if you have a flash drive or another cloud storage you want to use, just make sure whatever you work on in class today, you save. So you will want to download this spreadsheet, and this is where you will be working. It has 2 tabs. There's a ledger tab. This is your actual ledger that you will use for the project. So this is where you will keep all the journalizing, is where this will get posted to. So you'll have it, it's already set up for you. So you have cash, the account number, all of that for every account that this company uses. So when you're journalizing, you're going to journalize in Cengage, and then you're going to post to this spreadsheet. Okay, so you can journalize all the transactions if you want, print it off, and then do this. I don't care, or you can do one at a time. But you will need to turn in this spreadsheet as well, okay? So let me go back to the instructions.
This is kind of difficult. Is this a group project?
You can work on it together. I'm not opposed with, but you still need to turn in your own project. Yeah. Okay. And we will have other days in class to work on it. I just wanted to show it to you and get you working on it now while we're journalizing and posting. So it'll help you kind of reinforce those. But yeah, there will be other times we work on it in class. Let's see. So really, you're going to start with posting the journal entries. What you can do to this point, what we've learned, you can do through step 3. Okay, so you can journalize the entries. You have from May 3rd that goes on page 5 of the journal, May 3rd through 17th. And then from May 20th to May 31st goes on page 6 of the journal. So you can start journalizing those transactions and then posting them to that Excel ledger whenever you're ready. Okay, that's what I want you to start working on today. Again, I would print off the instructions. That way you're not flipping back and forth. You can also print, if you look at this chart of accounts tab, you can print that off as well, because that'll let you know which accounts you're debiting and crediting with each transaction, so you get them correct. Okay. So really what I want you to do to get started, again, is you'll look at those journal entries, you'll click on the journal tab, and it says, journalize each of the May transactions starting on page 5 of the journal. It says, do not insert the account numbers in the journal. You're going to do that when you post to the ledger. So again, it depends on how you want to post to that Excel spreadsheet ledger. If you want to do it after every transaction or print off all of your completed journal and then do it. So just to illustrate one, let's see, our very first, are your numbers the same? I think this one, they're all the same. You have $4,500 in unearned fees on May 3rd?
Yes.
Okay, I thought they were all the same. So you guys have all the same numbers. So again, I don't want you copying each other, but you can work together if you're struggling with identifying transactions and ask each other questions. Ask me questions. So on May 3rd, it says receive cash from clients as an advance payment for services to be provided, and we reported it as unearned fees at $4,500. Well, we received cash for unearned fees. So that kind of tells me what two accounts are being affected, right? Cash and unearned fees, which is a liability account. So is cash increasing or decreasing? Increasing, good. So what do I do? Do I debit or credit cash if it's increasing? Debit, perfect. And then I'm going to credit my unearned fees liability account. So I check my chart of accounts just to make sure I have the right accounts, and I have cash and unearned fees. So I'm going to go to my journal, and that was May 3rd, right? So I'm going to put in May 3rd. What's the year? 2018. We're on the same year. So May 3rd, 2018. It just defaults to May 3rd, so you don't even have to worry about the year. Remember, we have to list our debit account first. So in that case, this is cash. We're not doing our post reference yet. And it was a debit of $4,500. Okay. And if you notice to the right, it has the accounting equation, and it's showing with that entry that asset is increasing. So that's a good check for you to make sure that you've put in the right debit or credit if it's showing the right increase or decrease. And then on the second line, I'm going to put unearned fees and a credit of $4,500. Okay. So that's your first journal entry. You're going to skip a line and go to the next entry. You do not have to put in the description, so you can omit the explanation line. So we're just putting in the debit, then the credit, skipping a line, going to the next transaction.
Is there a particular reason why you skip a line?
Just for readability, basically. It makes it easier to separate out the transactions. Yeah, good question.
Do we have to skip a line?
Yes.
Yeah, because I did online assignment.
Okay. Well, did it flag any of it wrong? Or okay. Well, then I guess you don't have to. Yeah. I'm like, that's interesting. Yeah, we're supposed to. So that's kind of the standard format. But yeah, if it let you not, then I guess you're okay there if it didn't flag it wrong. That's a good question.
I didn't skip last time either.
And that's a good question. This 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You know, you're right. You won't. They don't want you to skip a line, do they? Because there's only 15 rows. Okay. Well, you should skip a line, but they don't want you to skip a line. My apologies. So yeah, on this one, you will just go to line 3 and put in the next journal entry. Yeah, normally we do skip a line between transactions in the journal, so that's a little upsetting, but that's okay. We'll roll with it. So you'll just keep journalizing all of these. Again, if you want to do all of your journal entries on page 5 and 6, print those 2 out when you're finished, then you can post all of those to the ledger. So again, I just wanted you to get an idea of what the project was and get started on it. So when we start chapter 3, it won't be overwhelming to get the project done. Because this is not what we are doing right now through the unadjusted trial balance. We still have stuff in chapter 3 we're going to cover to finish this project, okay? So if you at least get some of this journalizing done, you'll be in a good place. Plus, I think it's a great review for chapter 2 before we test to kind of practice this journalizing. There is a check my work, but I'm pretty sure you have to do all the journal entries before it'll actually let you check your work, okay? But then once you can do that, and I can always look at it too as you're going. So again, I just want you to start on those page 5 and 6, journalizing those first transactions just on page 5 and 6. And then when you're done, you'll post those to the ledger. So what that would look like in that first one, I debited cash, what, $4,500. So I would come in here and type in May 3rd. And on my debit, I would put 4,500. And then I'd have a debit of 4,500 balance. Let me see. Let me go back to the instructions. I don't remember if they wanted you to put in any beginning balances though. Yeah, we did have to put in the balances first. So that's how you'll post those transactions, but make sure you set up the balances first. So they give those here. These are your balances for your ledger account. So when you print off those instructions, make sure that you put these balances as a May 1st entry in your ledger. 22,100. I'm going to move that one down. So May 1st is a balance of 22,100. You'll get that from the April post-closing trial balance. So make sure you put all those beginning balances in your ledger. So May 1st balance 22,100. Then on May 3rd, I had a debit entry of 4,500. I need to keep a running total here, so I would add 22,100 plus 4,500. That'd be what, 26,600. Okay. And your post reference on your ledger is just the journal page it came from. So it came from page 5 of the journal, so I put in a 5. And then I can go back into my journal, and my post reference is the account number. So my account number for cash is 11. So on my journal, I'd put a post reference of 11 to show that I posted that to the ledger. Okay, so again, if you just want to work on journalizing today, that's completely fine. You can work on posting at a later date. I just want you to understand how it works. Okay, and then again, make sure you save that Excel file and then save it to a place you have access to it if you work on it at all today. And I would do the same for unearned fees. I'd want to post that to the ledger as well. So that unearned fees, I would find my unearned fees account. I would have a May 1st balance in there as well. Unearned fees had a beginning balance of 2,500 credit. I guess I just need to put it on the balance side. 2,500 credit. On May 3rd, we credited it another 4,500. Credit plus a credit, that would be what, 7,000 balance. And again, my post reference would be 5 for journal page 5. And this is account number 23. So I would go back to my journal and put in my post reference of 23. Okay. So just work on journalizing, and then if you want to, you can start posting to the ledger as well. Just make sure you save it. Are there any questions?
Why do you pay this?
I want you to learn accounting.
Fair enough. On the test, is it going to be, because I remember on the last test when we were doing it, like the way it was presented was different from how we learned it. Was really confusing. Can you do that again?
No, I went over the test yesterday and I modified it to kind of more of what we learned, the structure of what we learned.
When are we taking it?
And we'll take it, we'll review next Tuesday and test next Thursday. Okay. So we still have a week until we test. Yes. This isn't due until next month because we still have chapter 3 to cover to finish it, but I just want you working on it, kind of pace yourself on it. But yeah.